I remember always wanting to move to a small town, next to a coffee house where I could enjoy clinking china and rising steam all tethered together with the flowing voice of some traveling poet. And I remember the day that I realized I couldn't leave my city, no matter how many flaws it has. I watched Extreme Home Makeover and they did Detroit one time, and I was like, really? Detroit? Because, you know, if I lived in Detroit and they came to my house and they were like, hey, we want to give you a new house, I'd be like, look, can I talk to you guys for a second? Yeah, listen, can you just move us? You know, I'm just saying, like if that's an option. Because if you're not going to do, like, the whole city, there's just, there's no point. You've ever been to Detroit? You would understand why I made that joke. I grew up in Kenosha, Wisconsin, which is also an automotive town, so I saw the shutdowns of factories there. Now, I'm here to be of service to the people of Detroit who are facing mass water shutoffs. All of them are about to lose their water here, and it's a travesty. You know, and it's happening in America. Today, after the manufacturing boom began to wane in the late 1900s, industrial giants such as Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, and Detroit were struck hard with unemployment and poverty. However, though most of these industrial giants were able to overcome economic hardship, Detroit always struggled to recover. And after declaring bankruptcy in 2013, Detroit has become synonymous with failure. In March of last year, Detroit began a controversial campaign of shutting off water access to unpaid accounts in an effort to reduce the city's debt. But nearly 10 months later, and facing claims of racial discrimination, the shutoffs have continued and are now projected to affect between 200,000 and 300,000 Americans. Through the poetry Hometown by Dylan Garrity and Small Town City by Justin Rogers, the prose Water Shortage Not Just a Problem in Third World by Craig Kielberger, the drama Aliens in Detroit by Moranzio Vance, Water Crisis Detroit by Honest Progressive Detroiter, and clips from The Daily Show, an MSNBC interview with water rights activist Mo Barlow, and an Undercurrent interview with actor Mark Ruffalo. A program reminding us of a city that slipped through the cracks and demanding that we frame this crisis for what it truly is: an American human rights emergency. Hey there, upper middle class siblings of America. Come on in. We built this just for you. Every garage in town comes with a naked blue Prius and 2 to 4 bicycles. The Priuses are only to be used in case of emergencies, and only if those emergencies are more important than global warming. Here are 3 terrifying headlines from our neighborhood crime reports. 1, keg gone missing. 2, unappreciated serenading. 3, stranger's pigs follow woman up driveway. Woman very confused. How did Detroit get into this mess? Oh, and much more importantly, who is responsible for it? Okay, so it appears that we've narrowed the blame down to everybody. You killed Detroit, you killed Detroit, you killed Detroit. Everybody killed Detroit. Now nobody gets a car. What happened was that the department decided under the new bankruptcy plan to sell off the water system. They wanted to get rid of the bad debt, so they went after the poorest of the poor who have been left behind, as money has left Detroit. The biggest issue here is respect, the sense of entitlement. You know, why aren't these people paying? People who can pay but don't? They're freeloading. Why should Detroit be the only place that has to pass out free water? The Detroit crisis is nobody new front in the ongoing fight over water. Detroit, the Rock City,
might soon be known as dry as a rock city. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know, if Chicago went bankrupt, would you say the Windy City just let out its final fart? If Houston suffered a devastating earthquake, would you start the story with Houston? We have a problem. Yeah, the problem is your buildings are collapsing and there are hundreds of people trapped under the rubble. A major American city has just declared bankruptcy with devastating human cost. You know, maybe pump the brakes on the Poemobile a little bit. What is at stake here is that there are tens of thousands of low-income families who cannot pay rising water bill costs. Yes, there are bills that are being contested, you know, but the same kind of situation and the same kind of threat is not being made to those folks that are rich. Joe Louis Arena, home of the Detroit Red Wings, owes $82,000. The Detroit Lions Stadium Ford Field, more than $55,000. Golf courses owned by the city of Detroit owe more than $400,000, but they are not being threatened with shut-off. Come on in, middle-class liberals. Our town is 90% white, 1% African-American, 7% Hispanic, but most of that population lives on the other side of the river. If you visit here, we will tell you there's no bad part of town, but if there was, that would be it. And as kids, we would joke about it, like, I can't believe you used to live there. Like, I bet segregation just happens naturally. Like, I'm going to move somewhere cheap when I graduate, but it's not even worth it to gentrify that shit. So tell me, does a river become a moat if you can't afford to live on the other side? You have a lot of these folks out there saying that Detroit shouldn't be charging people for water. You know, but no one has ever asked for free water. The people who aren't paying don't want free water. They want affordable payment plans adjusted to their income. You know, so I have a question for you. By framing this as saying people just want free water, aren't you in some ways misleading this argument right now? There's no reason that this city, you know, in this state, with all of its wealth, can't come up with some sort of a program to keep this water from being turned off. It's insane. You know, we'll send any amount of money overseas, trillions of dollars, to fight a war and kill people, but we can't come up with federal money to alleviate this disaster? The case here is you've got a city that's desperately trying to survive. Why would you pick a fight with poor people? You know, because it's easy to win? So come to this land of opportunity for those who already have it, this golden age, if you can afford the golden ticket. Here are these claiming shut and pretend it's a protest song, but what sort of a protest song builds chains rather than breaks them? Detroit was ranked the angriest city in America. You know, and we should be angry. Detroit is more than riots and bankrupt car companies, but America believes that Detroit is just under the dot on its map. Believes our potential is buried. Forgetting that everything that grows starts underground. I don't think Detroit is going to be the last place in North America where this is going to happen unless we change our policies. This is happening in the so-called first world now. Detroit's the worst. It's not the only one, but it is the worst. This is the canary in the coal mine. So why are we not concerned?